This is the Great Basin prescribed fire and weather briefing from Monday, April 6th. Looking at our fire and burn map, we do have continued prescribed burning in our northern areas, much around the central Idaho mountains, western Wyoming. Projects have really diminished further south, do have one or two in the south, but overall we've had some natural fires on the small side last couple of days. Green up is now ensuing in a lot of lower and middle elevations in most areas, except for perhaps the far north. But that's going to diminish some of those natural dormant season fires that we had just a couple of weeks ago. Looking at precipitation amounts the past 7 days, we did have a storm system roll through, pretty decent valley rains and mountain snows across parts of the region. It did peter out a little bit in the far south. Looking at our flash drought index over the past 3 months, though, you can't make up 5 months of precipitation deficit with one storm, and we continue with the highest extreme drought levels on the flash drought monitor across many eastern and southern areas. Also starting to creep up quite a bit into the southern part of Idaho and into western Wyoming as well. Despite getting additional snowfall, the western snowpack still well below normal. A lot of the Wasatch ski areas did receive over a foot of snow, but a lot of that has melted under the April sun. It's really difficult to build snowpack in April. You get snowfall, but typically the next sunny day it starts to melt pretty quickly and runs off. So we are again at record low snowpack levels for most of the geographic area. The exception will be the central Idaho mountains in western Wyoming, where they're somewhere between 66 and 73%, still significantly below normal, just not quite at the record levels further south. The snow cover map does show that we have continued snow cover. Best coverage is still in the central Idaho mountains, where we had some of those higher percentages. It's really diminished to minimal below 8,000 feet in most central and southern areas. Some of our fuel conditions looking for some improvement through the week. This is the top chart is for the Southern Sierra PSA, and this is our current level. We are near record ERC levels, but this green line is the 7-day projection, and we do have a trend towards higher humidity and some precipitation, which will take things back down to what they normally should be. And similar situation down in southern areas near the Arizona Strip and southern Utah. Again, ERCs near record levels, but near the 80th percentile. But with the moisture that we are expecting, we should drop down to below normal by the end of the 7-day period. We'll see how that plays out. Here's our upper level map for today. We do have a weak low pressure area with some moisture, deeper moisture in Arizona, tickling parts of far southern Utah. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun elsewhere, a deeper low just offshore. Ventilation index, pretty good. A lot of white on the map, some yellow. So things are improving for this time of year. Humidity, though, bone dry in southern areas. Mid to upper single digits. We'll see upper teens to mid-20s further north. Winds overall fairly light, a little breezy in parts of south central Utah. The transport winds show those breezes even more, gusting to about maybe the mid-20s. Otherwise, no significant winds. Mixing heights, excellent, as you normally would expect this time of year, getting up to between 5,000 and 8,000 feet, where you see the areas in red. Now, for tomorrow, we do have this low pressure area still offshore, another one well off to the north, and kind of a weak high pressure ridge building in between. So, but overall, it looks like a very good ventilation day. There'll be some decent horizontal winds. You can see them here on the map. Also some continued dry humidity in the south. Looking for tomorrow's the transport winds quite strong. We mentioned that storm system that's further up north. It's kind of associated with a cold front, so there could be some wind gusts along the ridges in excess of 35 miles an hour, maybe in excess of 25 or 30 in some of our central mountains. Excellent overall mixing heights. Now on Wednesday, low pressure kind of in place, still off the coast. It'll play a role in our weather later on. That little other low that's dragging a cold front through the northern Rockies and causing those gusty winds in our northern areas, starting or continuing to transition and move to the east. Otherwise, dry air mass in place still. Overall, pretty good dispersion still. Looking at the humidity, again, single digits, upper single digits this time in the south, getting into the mid 20% further north. And overall, just the strongest breezes will be in our eastern areas. And you see those as well as in transport winds coming in off the Tetons and into the Uintas and northern Wasatch. Could see some transport winds and ridge gusts of in excess of 35 miles an hour, but it diminishes further westwards, again with continued excellent overall vertical mixing heights. Days 1 through 3 precipitation. First batch, maybe just a few hundredths of an inch sneaking into southern Utah. The bulk of the deeper moisture is further south in Arizona and New Mexico, and also a few scatterings maybe in parts of Idaho, but nothing significant. But things do change. A low pressure area on Thursday starts approaching the California coast, and by Friday it drops down and starts tapping some moisture, subtropical moisture from the deeper south. We also see some more clouds moving into ahead of this low into parts of Nevada and Utah. And then by Saturday, the low starts gathering more moisture from some of the warmer Pacific waters that are well offshore. We start seeing more less of that tannish dry air mass, more of the darker to green shades. And then by Sunday, the low moves inland, and we have a large area of rather diffuse moisture. So it's not going to be steady rain all the time, but just more clouds and sun, on again, off again showers, significantly higher humidity in a lot of these areas, except maybe the central Idaho mountains. They'll be on the drier side and a little breezy as another cold front pushes on through there. Precipitation days 4 and 5. This is Thursday morning through Saturday morning. Some significant amounts in the northern half of Nevada and for the Sierra. And then day 6 and 7, more widespread precipitation, showery in nature, a lot of it more of a tenth to a quarter of an inch over the course of 2 days, on and off. Nothing very wet that's going to make a significant impact in our heavier fuels. It'll be temporary on the ERCs, but it'll be a welcome respite nonetheless. And these are the 7-day totals that'll be occurring. The longer range 8 to 14, the outlook continues with warmer than normal temperatures and kind of a slightly higher than normal precipitation outlook, and especially, of course, northern areas. So we'll see how that all plays out. Overall, we're expecting a drier April overall, but this could be a wetter part of that month. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day. Next one coming up on Wednesday.